Hello and welcome to Crucible of Words for more legacy action. Today, at the request of a donor, we are putting a Marit Lage onto a Skateboard. This is a deck that the donor has played a little bit in paper, and they thought we would have a good time playing it, and it's certainly in my wheelhouse. So the main way that this deck wants to win the game is using Dark Depths, removing all the counters with Vampire Hexmage or Mutated Cultist, or copying it with Thespian Stage, and the copy has no counters, so we get 20/20. Ideally, we slap a Skateboard on it, and it has haste and kills our opponent. But sometimes we can just do it in our opponent's end step, untap, and bash in. There's a lot of other bits and pieces going on in this deck that we need to look at. So first we have Moon Shadow. This is just a very efficient threat. For 1 mana, it's usually hitting for quite a large chunk. And we've got lots of stuff to scale up. So, we've got ourselves some fetch lands. We've got some Wasteland. The Hexmage can go away on its own. The Lotus Petal's the same deal. So that's pretty cool. We've also got Overlord of the Balemurk, which can trigger our Moon Shadow. This can also find us the Cultist or the Hexmage to try and go with our Dark Depths. It can also find us an Ulamog. And the reason we're playing Ulamog is because sometimes you remove all the counters from your Dark Depths with Mutated Cultist, and then you can just play an Ulamog for free. More often than not, though, we're going to be playing like the One Ring off of that colourless mana, which is obviously a very powerful spell that we can use. We've got some hand disruption in the form of Thoughtseizes. We've got a couple of Urza Sagas so we can dig up our pieces like the Shadowspear and the Pithing Needle and the Skateboard, of course. And we have a one-off Ghost Quarter as well. There's no crop rotations in this list, which is interesting. But we do have Life from the Loam, so we can strip all of our opponent's lands using this Ghost Quarter. There is a one-off Noxious Revival, which doubles up as Graveyard Hate for your opponent, because you can put the card back on top if they try and like reanimate an Atraxa or something. And also we can just go and get back the thing we want, because we are trying to do this thing. So if they manage to get through our combo one time, we can then just put it back on top and have another crack. Couple of Once Upon a Time to round out our early game, and then a couple of Duresses to supplement our Thoughtseizes. And yeah, pretty much what you'd expect to support the cards that maybe you wouldn't expect. In terms of our sideboard, we've got some Plague Engineers. This is going to be good against the Ocelot Pride style decks. We've got a little bit of removal in Fatal Push and Abrupt Decays. We've got some Surgical Extractions for more Graveyard Hate. And we've got a couple of Void Mirrors. This is a really interesting one against a lot of the colourless decks. It can just shut down a whole bunch of stuff. Being able to stop Kozilek's command from being able to hit our creatures is also kind of cool. We've got a couple of Disruptive Roots as a generic anti-combo card. So yeah, that's the tools we're working with today. Should be an interesting one. So let's just get right into it and put that 20/20 on a Skateboard. Have you got Magic cards you don't want taking up space in your home, or do you just need some extra spending money? Well, my lovely sponsors, 3for1 Trading, are buying all collections, big and small. They are one of Europe's biggest traders and have a transparent process to sell them cards and make sure you're getting a good deal. Click the link in the description of this video to get an offer on your cards today. Okay, what does our hand do here? Not anything particularly interesting. I think we can do a better one. Let's mulligan. Alright, I believe in this Once Upon a Time. We've got varying game plans here, and we do have the potential for Marit Lage on a Skateboard. I'll keep this. We're probably going to get rid of this Pithing Needle. And we lead off on this, and then we should have Once Upon a Time first, but I think we're still leaning off on the Urborg there anyway here. Ghost Quarter or Bayou. Do you want the Ghost Quarter here? We've already got a green source here. Do you want a second green source? I'll take the Ghost Quarter because of its synergy with Moon Shadow. Right, here comes Moon Shadow. We are lined up so we could potentially draw Hexmage. We're just getting ploughed on turn 1. Or Prismatic Ending. Or is there just going to be like an Aethervial over there? They're probably like a Death and Taxes style Euro deck, but they could be like a big control style Euro deck. We don't really know yet. Mother of Runes. Okay, that suggests to me that they're playing a Death and Taxes style deck for sure. Wasteland isn't going to do very much for us here. Let's crack this. We will yield to the Moon Shadow trigger. Go and get ourselves a Bayou. Play a Skateboard. Cut down his Mother of Runes. Get a little attack in for 3. A little kick flip right into our opponent's face. This is a good thing to tap down with a Skateboard as well. A Stoneforge Mystic. If we draw a Hexmage, we just win this turn because we just put the Skateboard on the Dark Depths. Meteor Sword. Yep, that is obviously a pretty useful card right now for our opponent. Life from the Loam. Let's see if we can mess with our opponent's mana here. We don't really have anything else to do other than get back these lands with Loam. They can double block here if they want to, but it won't kill our guy and we get to kill the Stoneforge or the Mother of Runes. Yep, we just got our damages in and we'll move on. I don't even think we're dredging here. A Swords, 2 Plowshares. So they didn't have the second land for the Meteor Sword. Are we getting in for 1 damage with your Stoneforge? There it goes. Hexmage, please. Did not draw the Hexmage. What is the plan? Probably Surveil land. Probably the best thing we can do here. A bit worried about them just Meteor Swording our Skateboard away. Got another land there. They found a land. It's a Wasteland. That's obviously very good against what we're doing. Generally speaking, these sort of white Death and Taxes decks can be pretty good into Turbo Depths, especially if we're going slower because we're not quite turboing. So they're sort of like middling depths. So it gives them way more room to leverage their pieces and just lock us out. But we do have alternative threats here. So we might be able to overload them eventually. So I can Dread the Life from Loam, and we're going to get that anyway. Am I okay spending the mana this turn on the Life from Loam? I think I am. I think we're going to Wasteland our opponent's Wasteland first here. So I'm going to blow up my Skateboard. They're valuing the Skateboard more than one of our lands here. Hasty Marit Lage can certainly mess up somebody, so I understand. And we go get back Thespian Stage, Wasteland, and a Verdant Catacombs. We've already played a land for turn, so we'll pass over. Because if we don't make that play, they get to Wasteland and use the Meteor Sword. Right, another Wasteland. Just going to continue to do this, are we? There is a Stoneforge Mystic for the Cauldron complete. So next turn, that can be all up in our business. Not in love with that for us, but we can take them off of this Wasteland, and maybe that's enough. So we'll not use this replacement effect. A Moon Shadow. Let's get this Moon Shadow in. And I'll start growing the Moon Shadow by Wastelanding your Wasteland. Hopefully they miss and don't have a Cauldron complete to jam in our face. And then a couple of turns later we can just try and attack them with a Marit Lage token. Mother of Runes, they missed on land. Good news. I don't think they're attacking here either. Say no to this. A Duress. Yeah, I would like to see what's going on here. At worst, we take this Cauldron complete out of their hand. Pre-war formal wear. Okay, I guess we take the Cauldron complete here. That's the obvious one, isn't it? And then I'll deploy this Thespian Stage. And pass, and then next turn we can go for the Dark Depths combo. And at present we know their hand doesn't interact with it. An Ether Vial. That ticks up to 1. That's not really going to interact, so we have perfect information here. Thoughtseize. They can't get up to Skyclave Apparition mana anyway. What am I actually worried about our opponent having? They've got double Mother of Runes, so that's not really the best to attack into. Am I playing this around a Wasteland, but given the option of drawing a Plow and hitting our guy? If they Plow us, I don't really mind that much. Alright, we're going to do this in the upkeep, I think. Just to play around a potential Wasteland. So Moon Shadow is going to grow here. It's going to grow twice, in fact. We do have the ugly Marit Lage token. You've got one draw that needs to be good. It needs to be Solitude or Swords to Plowshares here. And if it is either of those, then we just Life from the Loam back the 2 lands and go again. What do you got for me here? A long pause. Alright, we got the game. Nice. This is probably a matchup where we're going to want access to like Abrupt Decays. There's a bunch of annoying permanents they have. Disruptor Flute. There's like Caracas and Wasteland and all sorts of stuff. This Void Mirror can stop their Pitchcast Solitude. I don't think we're playing this for this. Removal spells. I'm interested in some of these things. What looks good here? I think we can probably trim this Noxious Revival. I'm not super big into the Duresses because a lot of their things aren't things we can actually Duress out of their hand. The backup plan here of the Ulamog and the One Ring look pretty solid to me. I think the Abrupt Decays look like the best cards here, or is that true? Maybe the Fatal Pushes and the Disruptor Flutes are better. If we're only getting 3 here. If we're boarding in a bunch of stuff that Once Upon a Time doesn't find, then this makes some sense. I like the Skateboard a lot. The Shadowspear allows us to do some interesting trading, like with life total wise, but I don't know if we're about doing Shadowspear in this particular matchup. So let's just have another Abrupt Decay. I would kind of like this third Abrupt Decay, but I don't know what we're cutting for it. I think the Overlord, like sideways plan, is really good here. We don't have a Paducah Bowl or anything that we can cut out in this matchup. I think this is what we're going with. We could just go down on the Thoughtseizes, but it's quite nice to be able to Thoughtseize an equipment out of your opponent's hand, take out a spooky creature. I think we're going to try like this. Okay, we can keep this. We can name something with Pithing Needle and then we can start doing Overlord stuff. We didn't see any other colours from our opponent. And they're running Mother Runes, so I think they might be mono white. Overlord of the Balemurk. I think that is worthy of a Lotus Petal. Let's start this train rolling. We're going to pop out our graveyard here so we can keep an eye on it. I will take this Moon Shadow. This also puts a Loam into our graveyard, which is interesting. I don't know if we're about that life yet. Probably Moon Shadow plus Underground Mortuary is where my brain is at for the next turn. We could also draw something that changes that up. The Thalia makes it much more likely that that's our play because we're less likely to be able to cast anything else. A Fatal Push. Not great in the face of this Mother of Runes, truth be told. Let's play a Moon Shadow. Let's Underground Mortuary, see if we can grow our friend. We don't need this Urborg, let's grow the friend. So our opponent can crack in for 2 if they want, but we can crack back for more. And if they try and like block the Moon Shadow and use the Mother of Runes to protect against that, we can blow it out in a big way with the Fatal Push. But this Fatal Push is unlikely to matter. Maybe we do want Plague Engineer here. If they Wasteland us, it just grows our Moon Shadow more. I love the spot the Moon Shadow puts people in. Alright, there goes our Urborg. We grow our guy to a 3-3, so now they can't block. So they can't attack. White Orchid Phantom. Okay. We've got basics, I'm pretty sure. Okay, they're hitting their own land. That makes sense. This is just ramp. I love the Flagstones of Tricare. Just what a cool card. So simple. It asks you to do a little something with it, but there's different ways you can take it. Great stuff. We should be getting attacked here. These both have first strikes. They can gang up on our friend. We've already got our Surveil land, so that's not the best. We could play this out to make our guy into a 4-4. That's still not enough though, is it? I guess we're going to play this. Can we Impending this? Is that how that works? Because we're still casting a creature. Yeah, so we can still Impending this. Let's see if we can grow this. I'd be very surprised if we didn't grow it. Yep, some stuff went in there. So we've got a 5-5. So they can block with everything and still kill this, right? And they would lose 2 permanents for our 1 Moon Shadow. When we've got these coming off of Pseudo Suspensing, is that what I want to do? I don't think so. I think we can just maybe play the Pithing Needle and shut off the Mother of Runes first. And then we can get a nice attack in. If they start sending a guy in, then it opens us up to really good attacks. We're just going to get Flicker Wisped, a Skyclave. Sure. Goodbye, Moon Shadow. But we just need to tread water for a couple of turns and then we're going to have some big 5-5 stomping around. We can shut off this Mother of Runes. It is unfortunate that it costs us 2 mana to do it because of the Thalia, because then we can't also Fatal Push. Alright, so we've got the Mother of Runes locked down under this Pithing Needle now. It won't be long before this Overlord gets to go a bit ham. We don't have that many... Well, we don't have any creatures in our graveyard at present, so not ideal for this Overlord. This is another thing we can strip counters off as well. Okay, Recruiter of the Guard is a phenomenal pickup for our opponent here. I think our opponent is firmly in the driving seat right now. Just doing the classic mono-white taxes type thing. I think the Shadowy Backstreet is just there as a Surveil land. I don't think they're running black mana. The Mother of Runes and the White Orchid Phantom are kind of giveaways. Scarab Swarm. That's going to rain on our parade somewhat, isn't it? Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger. An interesting card. Are we killing this Thalia to enable some other stuff for us? I think we go for Ghost Quarter Thoughtseize this turn. Take this Canoptech Scarab Swarm they've just shooted for. Failure. I don't like that very much, but I guess I can live with it. Take this Scarab Swarm. Don't have to deal with all of those bodies. And then the Overlord wakes up. So we're going to have a 5-5 blocker. A White Orchid Phantom. They're going after our Underground Mortuary. I will respond here. What are we killing? We're killing the Thalia because it just makes our life a little bit easier. Are we killing the Skyclave because it gives us an additional blocker? We can kill the Flyer so that we're not getting pecked by a Flyer this turn. It's probably the Flyer, isn't it? Given our life total. Go and get... Wait, what happened to our forest? Oh, we milled it over. That is annoying. Don't think they're attacking to our Overlord here. They've got failure mana, so they can start blinking stuff. No to this one. An Abrupt Decay. I am going to Overlord here. Get my attack in. I'll take this Vampire Hexmage. No Dark Depths in our graveyard yet. Interesting. I think we just have to focus on killing this failure. Can we even do that? No, we'll probably have to kill the Skyclave and then block. 2, 4, 6. No, I think we're just dead, right? I think we just messed this turn up. Maybe we're not supposed to attack with the Overlord. Wait another turn so this one wakes up. So we shoot down the Skyclave, we get a blocker, which can block this. And then we take 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, 2, 3, 4, 5. They didn't attack with Mother of Runes. If we go blocks here, we have to block one of the 2/2s. This will leave us at 1 life. We will have 2 Overlords, but they're going to have some flying friends. They've got a Recruiter, which can easily go and find an answer to Marit Lage, so that's probably not great for us. I suspect they play the Recruiter now and just insulate their hand with a Solitude. Flickerwisp. Okay. Get this back. I think we're still naming Mother of Runes. They can use the Mother of Runes to push damage as well, because they can give it protection before we get to blockers. I don't think we're... Does a Marit Lage help us here? We make a Marit Lage. We're on 1 life is the problem. We can make 1 blocker, 2 blocker, 3 blocker, and then we're just dead. Yeah, we'll just scoop it up. I think I am going to board in these Plague Engineers, given how many humans they have. It's also just another threat, so we can kind of play a different sort of game. If we bang these in, maybe we don't want the Thoughtseizes. They're on the play, they do seem a lot better. Let's try something along these lines, I think. I don't know if you want a Shadowspear. Check this out and just get this Abrupt Decay in as well. We don't really have a lot of protective elements, so I don't think trying to Thoughtseize our way through to making a Marit Lage makes the most amount of sense. Our plan for like big scary equipment is to kill the creature that can put in the equipment, aka the Stoneforge. Moon Shadow into Abrupt Decay. It's a weird hand, but I think this Plague Engineer is good. We can also just play a Saga game as well. We got options. We're not really growing this Moon Shadow anytime soon, but they've shown us they're mono white, so they're not going to just be pinging this for a little bit of damage. So we've got time to let it breathe a little. Just playing it straight up. Alright, opponents. Disruptor Flute. So let's play this. And I'm going to name Wasteland, I believe. And then our Urza Saga can kind of run its course. We can go and get Skateboard. And then we can threaten a Marit Lage at some point using this Mutated Cultist. Mother of Runes. That does die to what we're trying to put down. Also, colourless creatures really don't care about Mother of Runes. So I'm just going to be on the Urza Saga beatdown plan for a little bit. And then we can pivot into whatever we need. We can go and get a Lotus Petal if you really want to play this Plague Engineer. So we play like a Thalia here. We can go and get that to save up for the following turn. A Rishadan Port. Kicking it old school over there, opponent. You going to tap me down with a port here? No. What do I want? I kind of want the Skateboard, but I also want the Lotus Petal, and I also want the Pithing Needle. I think I'm just going to get a Lotus Petal and make sure that we've got mana to work with moving forwards. I am somewhat concerned about a Failure coming down and just blinking out our tokens. That would be why you wouldn't Rishadan Port there. I guess you know that we're going to make a construct anyway is the other reason though. Let's see if they've got the end step Failure. Right, they get to blank one of our things before we decay them. Although, is that true? Because they have Mother of Runes, we're going to have to go through an extra hoop first. So we're probably going to end up losing both tokens. Oh, Failure. Are we going to Recruiter, though? If they're not blinking out our guys, Wrath of the Skies. X is 1, so just getting rid of my Lotus Petal and my guys. Yep, that's pretty good. But at least they're not gaining the extra value off the Failure just now. Like, this is obviously bad for us. But a land allows us to sweep the Mother of Runes, which then opens up our ability to kill this Failure. There is a land. Just go and get Bayou here. Human. Get out of here, Mother of Runes. Because that hits... This will also hit the Thalia as well by being unhuman. If they offer a trade here, I'll probably take it. But we don't need to because we've got the decay. But they're going to have so many things to point this at. Just trading 2 for 1 here feels pretty good. We don't want them to play something like a Recruiter that they can then blink. Right, we're going to lose our Skyclave. So this allows us to blow our opponent out next turn, potentially. Because we can just go and get 3/3 to block the Failure. They can't blink out their Skyclave here, because then we get a blocker that kills their guy. Just do nothing with it. If we have a land, we just play the One Ring instead. I don't know if we do. I kind of want to shut this down. So I think we're just going to try and Abrupt Decay our opponent this turn. Can we get a really sweet 2 for 1 here? If they play like something that's worth blinking, then we obviously have to just shoot the failure now. What do they get here? A Stoneforge Mystic. So I can blow this up, and then I can disrupt a flute on the Stoneforge Mystic after they fetch something with it. I think we just have to stop them gaining an extra card here. As much as I'd like to get the super duper blowout, I think we just need to play responsibly here. And then we're going to be a one-ring gamer, I think, from this point onwards. We've seen they got Spirit of Labyrinth in their deck. I don't think we care about that one. We can leave this as a fetch land so we don't have to waste Moon Shadow value or life points. Here comes the One Ring. Let's draw a card. It's the Dark Depths. Okay, so we're working with something. I'd like to draw an Ulamog, please. 1 times Ulamog. We're just playing a Stoneforge out here. What are we doing? Also, leaving this as a fetch land that taps because of the Urborg means that we're a bit safe from Ristan Port. Pre-war form away. You can go get back your failure. This is very good against our Marit Lage, unfortunately. But if we find the Ulamog, then our opponent is toast. But there's only 1 Ulamog in our deck, so the chances of us finding it aren't the highest. Hexmage isn't the one. They got 3 cards in hand. They're going to be blinking this in a little bit of a tough spot, I would say. I think we play out this Hexmage. And we're probably just holding up. Well, I could Mutated Cultist and take the counters off the One Ring and then get the Disrupt Flute in. I think the plan here is to protect ourselves from whatever they get with the Recruiter, potentially. And if they go and get a Solitude and think they're safe, then we flash in the Disruptor Flute to name Solitude. Right, there is a Solitude right there. They pitch Wrath of the Skies. That is an annoying one. So if we blink, if we make this guy, they just blink it out of existence. I think we just take the 2 life and live with it. Right, hate that for us. Now they get to blink this Recruiter. Get yet more value. Our opponent's just doing their thing and we're not really. Although we do have the One Ring, that is certainly a thing. So this blinks the Recruiter presumably. Unless they want to strip the counters off of our One Ring. That doesn't seem the most useful though. Okay, so they're going to get in for 6 here. Can't do anything about that. Am I going to surveil here? Is it worth it to me? I think so. Trying to find an Ulamog. Let's see what they get with this. So we're probably just going to play this on the Stoneforge. But they can blink this out and put the stuff in whenever they want anyway. Kind of sucks. Meteor Sword. So Recruiter, what are you getting with this? It's giving our opponent too much time and space. A Solitude. Okay, let's crack this for our Surveil land. It's another copy of the One Ring, which does keep us in the game. Let's play this one out. I think we name... Do we name Mother of Runes? I think it has to be the Mother, doesn't it? But then we just get stuff blinked out. It has to be Mother of Runes, otherwise our removal spell that we could draw won't work against this failure. Alright, so the One Ring's going to hurt us a little bit. And we're going to draw another one. Are they going to port us down? Or are they going to port? One of our green-black sources makes sense. Let's tap the One Ring. Moon Shadows. So I think we play out a Moon Shadow. And then we play out this One Ring. We're just buying time here. We can tap the One Ring and remove counters from it as well. I think I'm okay taking 1 life here. And Abrupt Decay. That gets rid of the failure, which then does what? Lets us die to all the things they get with the failure. They're still attacking this turn because they get to blink their Recruiter and get some goodies. Alright, they're going to put in the Meteor Sword now. I assume they're just going to kill our Moon Shadow, or it's going to be one of these Disruptor Flutes. They can target the One Ring, but they won't blow it up. Okay, they want to unlock their Mother of Runes. That is awkward for us. This failure is just so good against Moon Shadow as well. We spend a bunch of effort trying to strip the counters off, and then they just go, well, you can't have any counters. But we still got Ulamog as an out. Alright, they're going to blow up another permanent here, rather than fetching another card. That's obviously bad for various reasons, but not much we can do about that. Do they take out our Wasteland Disruptor Flute, or do they take out our Moon Shadow? They could take out our Dark Depths, which would be an interesting line. Right, putting Yori into hand. That can go with the Solitude. I need you to leave my Dark Depths alone. Alright, they've taken the Dark Depths out. So now we have to draw the Dark Depths to go with our Mutated Cultist here. Let's draw some cards. Well, I guess we can continue to play this nonsense game, can't we? Here comes the Moon Shadow. Here comes the One Ring. Keep the new one. Let's draw a card. And Verdant Catacombs. I don't really want that. It does grow both our Moon Shadows, but growing our Moon Shadows isn't actually very helpful right now. I think we're just going to start working towards Urza Saga stuff. This can get us a Skateboard if we can survive for a little bit longer. We're really just trying to get that Dark Depths Ulamog life going. Because we've got the life from Loam, we can go and get the Dark Depths and get our Ulamog. And then that ignores the Mother of Runes because it's colourless, so we can blow up the Defiler and something else. Try to stabilise with this big Ulamog that they maybe have to give us a bunch of life with. And then we can start working towards beating our opponent down with other bits and pieces. What are they going to do here? Play a different thing they would like to blink? They can exile our One Ring using the Yorion to blink the Skyclave. Gives us the 3/3, but they don't really care about that because they got Failure. So playing out... I don't like playing out the Yorion like this that much, because they blink out a bunch of stuff. I guess it's the same as blinking out with a Failure, but if you blink it with a Failure, it grows. So maybe that's just better to blink it out that way and get your Failure larger. Not that this needs to be any larger than it already is. They're going to blink the Failure out, the Yorion out. Okay, no, I do like this actually, because they're going to blink the Yorion out, and then the Yorion's going to come back. The Yorion's going to leave, and then come back again next turn and do a bunch of horrible crimes against us. What are you going to do here? Going to blink out my Moon Shadow instead of their own Yorion. Okay, well, we're not going to block because we've got the One Ring protection. And we're probably going to lose that One Ring the One Ring in general here because they're going to take it with the Skyclave. The top card of our library has to be Ulamog for us to continue playing this game. Look at all these triggers. Very rude. We lose our Urza Saga. They go and get some other scary thing that's going to beat us. Canoptex Scarab Swarm, just lots of blockers against the Marit Lage. Makes sense. Also can sweep out Life and Malones. Have we got another equipment? They must have. Probably like Batterskull. We've already seen the Cauldra. Okay, pre-war formal wear. The Ulamog exiles, so that's not a huge issue. Alright. Is the top card of my library Ulamog? It is not Ulamog. Is there a way that we can draw additional cards here? No. Is there a way we can do anything here? We can remove a bunch of counters from our Moon Shadow. And then what? Maybe they make a mistake and Abrupt Decay. We should play 2 lands out. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. We can make a lethal attack that forces our opponent to do some stuff. I guess that's okay. We can remove all the counters from a Failure if we want to. It's better to remove them from the Moon Shadow. Making 2020 is irrelevant in the face of the Failure. Solitude, targeting the one we're trying to get going. What do they pitch to this? Wrath of the Skies. Okay, that's sad because then we don't also get the mana that we were hoping for. Yeah, we're just dead here. I think our opponent did the Death and Taxes thing and got us dead. Tough matchup for sure. But we certainly did some cool stuff with our deck, and let's go to round 2 and see if we can do it in a way that's positive in the old wins column. Can't keep this hand. The mana just simply doesn't work. What am I going to do here? Just put back a Lotus Petal. I think we just start on an Overlord. Go get some juicy lands in our bin so our Life and Loam looks good on turn 2. Oh, we're getting comboed on turn 1. Let's find out. Thoughtseize underneath it. Dark Ritual. Lion's Eye Diamond. Infernal Tutor. Crack the Lion's Eye Diamond. Go and get Beseech the Mirror. Beseech the Mirror, get rid of Chrome Mox. Cast Beseech the Mirror. It goes and gets the Gaia's Will. And then Gaia's Will plays out the Diamond, the Ritual, the Mox, and then they can Beseech for lethal. Yep, this gives them 3 mana. This takes them up to 5 mana. And then they just have a clean Beseech win on turn 1 on the play. Rest in peace. Oh, they're going for... Why are they going for Infernal Tutor here? That's... Okay, they're just going for a Lion's Eye Diamond. They just want to pad some more Storm for some reason. If we'd have had that one of Noxious Revival, we would have won this one. As funny as that would be. Yep, Tendrils gets us. Sometimes you're going to get killed on turn 1. This deck generally doesn't do that all the time, but it is a line that it has available to it. Void Mirror is great. Disruptor Flute seems good. Surgical is playable, so I will play it. We're not trying to counter their spells. They don't know anything about our deck, which is a huge advantage we have. Certainly not going to be a Shadowspear matchup. Our hand disruption is good. The Nocturnal Survival does things. If we're boarding all these things, we probably don't need these Once Upon a Times, do we? The Overlords are way too slow to matter here. Are we doing Life from Alone grinding stuff? I don't particularly think that's where I want to be here. Let's try something like this. We've got win conditions. We can work with them here. But we just need to not lose the game. And then we eventually win. Oh wait, this says counter, doesn't it? So it's not going to work under Hexing Squelcher. That could be a bit of a problem for us. I am going to keep this hand that Thoughtseizes our opponent and makes a guy that can turn sideways. And sometimes has other additional text. I've also got our Disruptor Flute. Like, when we're not playing Collector Roost and stuff, we're a little bit sketchy. Okay, Beseech Mirror just kills on turn 1, right? Yeah, this is almost the same hand. Let's just take the Beseech the Mirror. So they can Duress us and take the Disruptor Flute. But I think they're... I guess... Do they want to just play out the Mox so they can get the Brainstorm going? Oh, they drew a Lotus Petal. That's a really good draw for our opponent, because that means they can just play this Chrome Mox. They don't even have to imprint on it, but they might just put the Duress underneath it. Or they put the Dark Ritual under it. Interesting. Here is the Mox Opal, and now they can just get a little free Brainstorm going. Oh, they're going to Duress us first, so they know what we're playing, so they've got a better idea of how to navigate their Brainstorm. I like that. I feel pretty vulnerable here. I'm not going for the Brainstorm yet. They can use this to protect their hand or play around what we draw. Here comes Vampire Hexmage. Not the most exciting threat right now. So they Brainstorm again a turn. They've got enough time. I think they should just untap and Brainstorm on their turn when they just got more time to use their resources. Because they get to see an extra card deeper if they wait. And we clearly don't have very much going on. Right, so now we're doing the Brainstorm on their turn, which I think is the correct play. Okay, so you follow up the Brainstorm with a Raucous Theatre. Rid of that Chrome Mox so they put on top. Alright, we get to turn our guys sideways. That's something. Dark Depths? Not a Dark Depths. Skateboard is worth 1 damage. Hexmage is worth 2. So we're just going to send in the Clown. Deploy the next Hexmage. And await for the oncoming storm of our opponent's hand. If we draw a Dark Depths, we can make Marit Lage and put on a Skateboard. Which is what we came here to do today. Urza Saga. This suggests our opponent's hand is going to be a little bit slower. We can sacrifice these to stop them getting the LED. So when this gets up to 2 counters, we can strip all the counters off and it goes back down to 1 again. Or 0, and then they have to spend more turns. It's Burning Wish time. What is your wish target here, opponent? Beseech the Mirror. Okay, so next turn could be sketchy. This is a great time to draw Dark Depths, please, deck. Not the Dark Depths. I'm not going to complain about a Duress, though. We're almost certainly taking this Beseech. Infernal Tutor is pretty good too. We take the Beseech here. And then we'll play out a Skateboard. They can pivot into doing as a Saga beatdown plan. But I'm not too worried about that one. I think their best bet is just to start cranking up with this Saga. Make a couple of guys. We don't know what they've drawn though. But they're not under pressure, although there's the threat of a hasty Marit Lage at any moment. Okay, we're going now. So Dark Ritual into Demonic Tutor, basically. Is this just a Beseech line? Is that lethal? Ad Nauseam. That is a little risky with no starting mana. They haven't played a land yet, so they have 1 starting mana. Squelcher. This hand doesn't go anywhere yet. And the guy's well in their hand is a problem. Okay, so this is still not enough mana to get this into play. That doesn't do anything. That doesn't do anything. Infernal Tutor, that puts it down to 6. They still need more starting mana here. They need a Dark Ritual or a Lotus Petal. Another Infernal Tutor. So they're dead on board, so they're going to keep going for it. Oh, and they just whiffed and hit the Beseech. I don't think they had to go for it there. Why is it letting them continue to go even though they're at -2 life? Alright, okay. Any sign of no, nothing representing a Dark Depths kill over there. We saw the Wishclaw Talisman. Do I want the Abrupt Decay to deal with that? I don't think so. We've already got access to the removing counter stuff, which does the same thing. Do I want a couple of Fatal Pushes? I guess we don't want Fatal Pushes for the Squelcher. We probably just want some like Abrupt Decays. Our opponent might just go off the Squelchers now they've seen what deck we're playing. So I don't think we actually need the Abrupt Decays, and we can just go in again. Because the Squelcher does nothing to basically anything in our deck apart from the Void Mirror. And they don't know we're playing that. Ooh, the Noxious Revival. I will keep this. We've got Hand Disruption and we've got turn 0 interaction, which can sometimes just blow them out. If they go for a line like they did in game 1, we can just blow them out by putting the Beseeching Mirror on top of their library at the right time. Like when they're putting mana on the stack to get themselves up to the right amount of mana to cast a Beseech, we just then put this on top and then they've just spent all their resources. So that's what we're hoping here, opponent. Just do a big send that we can interrupt with our revival. Alright, looks like what's happening here. Is it just going to be an Echo line? Or is it Infernal Tutor or Burning Wish into... If this is Burning Wish into Beseech, we're okay. If this is Burning Wish into Peer into the Abyss. Well, that's going to wreck us, isn't it? Because they've just drawn 27 cards. The chances of them whiffing here are pretty close to 0. Let's just see what transpires here. There's a non-zero chance our Noxious Revival can do something. By non-zero, I mean like 0.01. But we've got plenty of time on the round here, so it's not like we're wasting too much time. Alright, they're going to Thoughtseize. If the Noxious Revival is relevant, they're just going to take it. I assume my opponent can win from there. Alright, bit of a tough one there. We did take a game off them, and they turn 1'd us twice. Like, what are we supposed to do about that, really? Let's go to match number 3. Okay, for round 3 we've got a Moon Shadow hand. I'll keep this. An Urborg, you say? Snap. Dark Ritual over the top. What is happening here? We get an Oppo Agented? An Orcish Bowmasters. That's just a little bit rude, isn't it? I don't think I'm going to play out this other Moon Shadow until next turn now. It means we're not going to be able to attack for a turn, but I can live with that. Make sure it grows out of range. A Wasteland. Are you Wastelanding me now? Or have you got more scary things to do? This looks like mono black, sort of aggro-y. They probably have their own Moon Shadows at this point. Alright, colourless mana is better for them. What is this? Ripples of Undeath. Alright, our opponent's doing some cool stuff. Right, so we go Moon Shadow. Play this. Crack this. Go and get a Forest. It taps for black because of their own things. Let's Thoughtseize them, see what the last 2 cards in hand are. We'll take this Orcish Bowmasters, and then I will Duress away your removal spell as well. And then paying life to the Ripples of Undeath is kind of a sketchy proposition. So we've got no cards left in hand. Let's pass it over. At some point we could just deploy the One Ring and pop off because that card is ridiculous. Alright, here comes the Ripples. There's a removal spell they can pay for if they drew a land and they can deploy it right now. A Sinkhole as well. Our opponent's cooking over there. This is some sort of mono-black Pox deck. Alright, they're paying to get this card. So it's 1 mana and 3 life. Which is not nothing here. They took the removal spell. Have we got the land? Or do I at least get to have a turn with my Moon Shadow? We do get to have a turn with my Moon Shadow. We can Thoughtseize away the card they've just put into their hand, and that will really annoy them, which is nice. For that long goodbye. Oh, I got Bloodghast as well. Our opponent's hand is sweet. The whole deck is cool. So we know we're safe to attack with this Moon Shadow for 3. If they want to get anything back, it's going to cost them. Alright, Ripples of Undeath. Dark Triumph. Oh, wow. Creatures you control get +2/+0 until end of turn. Our opponent is cooking here. The plan to just get lots of Bowmasters going. They just get in the swamp here. They chose Dark Triumph. Okay. They can bash us for 2 here. They probably need to be getting rid of our Urza Saga at some point. They don't need to do it. I guess if they don't do it now, then we get to make a guy. Am I okay trading this with all of their things? I don't think so. Let's just hold back and make some constructs. If they're not going to use their Wasteland that way. Their life total is dwindling as they Ripples on Death here. It's such a sweet card though. Hogak, there we go. That is the hit that they've been looking for. Are they going to pay to get something back here? So we have the Skateboard, which can tap down their Hogak if the Wasteland allows us. They probably want a Wasteland just to stop us getting Soul Guide Lantern or something. They might just go for a Bloodghast here though. Just go Bloodghast, Hogak, and just say, I'm going to kill you next turn. But this can't block. So they'll only have one of these blockers if we tap down the Hogak. Which means our guy will go through. If you're planning on playing this Bloodghast this turn, I think you want to play the Bloodghast and use this to tap. But if you're Wastelanding, this makes perfect sense. So I suggest our opponent is going to Wasteland us this turn. Let's make a guy. They could obviously have another spell as well. Do I make a guy here, or do I go for the One Ring line? The One Ring is not great into Orcish Bowmasters. Alright, let's make a guy. This will grow our Moon Shadow. And Orcish Bowmasters, this is going to ping down our construct so that we don't get a big one to attack with this turn. This is awkward. We name Wasteland. We could go get the Shadowspear, try and survive a turn. Our opponent is hitting us for so much damage this turn though. If they sacrifice a swamp, they get +2/+0 on each creature. So this will be 3, 6, 10. This won't be hasty though. 10 damage. We get the Skateboard. We tap down the Hogak. We play the Lotus Petal. Equip the Skateboard to the Moon Shadow. And we are 1 damage shy of killing our opponent this turn. That 1 damage might be quite difficult to come upon is the problem. You have to double block to do this. Okay, so this is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. No, they just have the Dark Triumph to kill us, right? And even if we hold back here, it's not good enough. Because this is going to be 10 power of Trample. So we can soak these up, then we take 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, we were just stone cold dead. Maybe we're supposed to let them block and kill one of their guys. But they just kill us with that Dark Triumph card. Cool. Not a card that I've been killed by ever before. It's always exciting to find new and interesting ways to lose the game. Here comes the Bloodghast. I believe it's an instance, so they can just send the team. We block the biggest guy, but it's not going to be enough here, is it? I'll let our opponent get their sweet screenshot though. So it's going to give them +2/+0 until end turn. Even if we block this one, we're still taking lethal. And we would have taken lethal even if we had another blocker. Cool. Well, Graveyard Hate seems like a useful tool to have in this matchup. So let's board some in. Surgical Extractions. The Plague Engineers and Fatal Pushes. This all seems useful. Void Mirror means that Hogak can never be cast if we're really worried about Hogak. I think Shadowspear makes sense. Noxious Survival is okay here. If we're boarding in these things again, we're probably not keeping these Once Upon a Times. We did see Wastelands. Tapping stuff down is important. The Life and Loam can answer their Wastelands. Maybe take out the Pithing Needle and just try and use the Loam to beat it. How many of these things do we realistically board in though? I think the Engineer on Orc is actually really good here. It's a Death Touch body as well, so it can trade up nicely. I don't think they're going to have much answers to our guys. Maybe this isn't just like a Thoughtseize matchup at all. We let these go and we board in some Graveyard Hate pieces. And then we get ourselves some removal. Do we just want cheap removal or do we want flexible removal? I think a combination of both. So maybe just 1 decay or maybe we want 2 decays and 1 push. We'll try that. I don't think this hand is interesting enough. I think we can do better. Bit of Graveyard Hate, some guys that can maybe do some stuff. Seems pretty poor though. But if our opponent's deck doesn't have a Hogak in it, then I'm probably going to feel okay about that. So maybe we keep this and bottom the Petal. It does leave us a little bit exposed. Opponent might be able to have access to a Wasteland here. But we've mulliganed, so I just don't think we have much choice here. Ghost Quarter. Well, we don't care if that hits us because we've got basics. Why do they tap this and then pass a turn? That must have just been a misclick. Get Hexmage in, and then we can deploy this Lotus Petal, make our opponent fear the crop rotation that's not in our deck. It's been very difficult to actually find the Dark Depths in our list. Smallpox. Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it? Let's get rid of this Decay. And we're probably just getting rid of the Urborg. If we have a Dark Depths, we can still combo off because we have the Lotus Petal. The One Ring. You are a ways away from being casted. I'm not going to play this Hexmage out and burn our only use of our Lotus Petal on it. Our Urborg helped them cast that, which is a shame. They discarded a Bloodghast as well, just living the dream over there. We can just put a Hexmage in front of it and the first strike can cleanly take it out. These were in the same set as well. They both Zendikar back in the day. Okay, a Dark Ritual. I'm saving the Surgical for something. Okay, what even is this? Karzai Revenant. Flying Death Touch Lifelink. 3/3. Exile it from your graveyard to put a Flying Death Touch counter on and a Lifelink counter on a creature. Okay, so it's like Super Vampire Nighthawk. Understood. Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger. I think we just need to hold up our mana in case we draw into some removal that costs 2 mana. Do we have any removal that costs 2 mana actually? Because we've only got the 1 Decay, I think. I don't really want to play out a Hexmage when I can play out a Hexmage after we've got the Dark Depths, so we're not exposed to removal. That does involve our opponent having to tap out though, because now they've got 2 different pieces of land destruction over there. Alright, we take 5, our opponent gains 3. Because they're a graveyard deck, they're running this over running a like Barragoyf, but I think Barragoyf is just better. Okay, we have a Menace guy. We're about to lose our Menace guy. Just wasn't menacing enough. The long goodbye. Goodbye, Moonshadow. There goes our land. I don't really know what we're supposed to do to get back in this one. It has to be something along the busted combo axis of things. Another Wasteland as well. So we're putting the Hogak in. We didn't get a chance to Surgical Extract it because it was coming from hand and not graveyard. Alright, I'm just going to scoop this one up now. We're not beating this. Like, even if we can get a Dark Depths in next turn, they've got enough damage to just go around it anyway. Because we'll be at 1 life after this turn cycle. Or dead if we use this Verdant Catacombs. So, a bit brutal that one. On to round number 4. Okay, this hand can do some Moon Shadow stuff into some One Ring stuff. So we can remove all the counters from Moon Shadow to play the One Ring. So this is a turn 2 One Ring if we want it. A Mountain. A Faithless Looting. Okay, our opponent's up to something no good there. Are we dredging? We dredging. You got a Lion's Eye Diamond. They do have a Lion's Eye Diamond. Okay, they're dredging a lot. Here we go. They might need black mana, so I'm just going to play this Swamp out. And we play out Moon Shadow. I don't think we're going to get a second turn is the problem. I guess we play out the Lotus Petal. Because what I want to do here is strip all these counters off, play the One Ring, get protection. But we need to get through this turn cycle. This is one of those ones where if we were on the draw, sorry, if we were on the play, it'd be a lot better. No Cabal Therapy. But they've got a Lion's Eye Diamond, so they can really shove this turn. Faithless Looting. Alright, so we had a Faithless Looting from hand. So they're going to dredge their entire deck this turn. And our Graveyard Hate for the dredge matchup is just not good enough. I don't think Surgical is where you want to be. I feel we're just losing rounds because we've got the wrong sideboard choices. Now, there's definitely some issues with our deck, I think. But the sideboard choices are really not helping us out here. Okay, so they have an Anger. How many Bridge from Belows are in here? No bridges, though. But they're not done dredging yet. Still no bridges. Do they do anything here? Can they dread return? They can dread return the Ashen Rider. That's pretty scary. They don't have like a Satoru which just dredges the rest of their deck for them though. We kind of need this Moon Shadow because we need the counters on it. Just pass the turn, opponent. Let's have a go. Maybe we can fumble our way through the turn after with some sort of Marit Lage line using Skateboard to tap down their blocker. Cabal Therapy. Do I want this to resolve? I think we're just going to concede and conserve information from our opponent. If we had ley lines in our side... Do we have ley lines? I don't think we have ley lines, do we? If we had surgicals. Yeah, we have surgicals instead of ley lines. So if we had like proper Graveyard Hate instead of surgicals, I think we'd be okay here. The Void Mirror does help though. This can name whatever Poxwalkers is. Is Overlord too slow here, perhaps? I think we're doing a bunch of these things. Any discard spell can be useful here. What a Shadowspear. When we get to the point where we need the Shadowspear, we probably already lost. If we just got a grip of 4 ley lines to board in here, I think we're just better. There's not many decks that Surgical's actually that good against right now. Like, it can be fine against Storm decks, but Leyline is better because it shuts down the Echo as well as the Gaia's Will lines. And obviously they get to know that they're playing around it with the Beseeches, and they don't just play into it. But a good Storm player shouldn't just play into a gotcha like that anyway. Hand Disruption, that is something. I think that's worth it. And sometimes they don't have a really fast hand and we can maybe pick apart the speedier elements of their hand. Huh, so they have ley lines. That certainly makes our play here worse. Am I playing out this Moon Shadow? Is getting a 1-1 even worth it? Is that worth our Lotus Petal, or should we just Thoughtseize here? Maybe just Thoughtseize, because we could draw Dark Depths for Marit Lage next turn. Although we're just not seeing the Dark Depth. Okay. Get rid of this Lion's Eye Diamond. So the hand is a little bit slow. There's a Petal. Take another Worldly Gaze. I don't need to do it now, though. Oh, they drew a Faithless Looting. That's... Okay. So they're binning off the 2 Thugs. And they've had a land that allows them to Otherworldly Gaze as well. Yep. One of the better draws for sure. Dark Depths 1 time. What are we doing? I think we play this one out. What do we even name? What creature type is Poxwalkers, I guess? Or is it Narcomoeba? If we name Zombie, we kill Poxwalkers on contact. We name Narcomoeba. Sorry, we name Illusion, isn't it? Is the Narcomoeba. Then they'll just go away straight away. I'll play this land out. Sorry, this Lotus Petal out. I don't think we're going to use it to play a 1-1 Moon Shadow. So I'm going to Otherworldly Gaze. Try and find a better dredger than the one they've got there. If they've got a Careful Study, then they'll draw a regular card for turn and leave it on top. There's a bridge from below. So the Narcomoebas will immediately become guys. Alright, they didn't dredge anything of note. That is something, at least. A Skateboard. I think I am deploying this Vampire Hexmage, which can sacrifice to get rid of bridge from belows. And then we will play out the Moon Shadow because we can sacrifice on the Moon Shadow to gain a 7/7 creature still. And if we draw a Dark Depths next turn, we can still go off with it if we need to. Provided we don't have to sacrifice this Hexmage this turn. Alright, that dredge didn't really go anywhere. Am I attacking my opponent for 7 this turn? I don't think so. We can do it in a weird way where we like first strike down. I think the plan here is to get the Skateboard in, put the Skateboard on some guy. I would like to put Marit Lage on a Skateboard just once this league. Tap down your Underground Sea, Moon Shadow. So if we attack, we're attacking for 6 here, but I could do 2 damage via the first strike, and then I could sacrifice it to the Moon Shadow. So instead of doing 6, we do an additional 6, so we do 12, and then our opponent would be dead on board. Let first strike go, and then we'll remove the counters from here, and then we'll hit them for more. Alright. We know Narcomoebas won't be able to block the, what they called, the Poxwalkers. They come in tapped. We've removed, oh, we don't remove the bridge from below because they're laying on the void actually. That's an important thing to note. Okay, so they have laying on the void. It wasn't actually that good against us, but I'm happy we boarded out the Overlords because of that and the Loams. Do I want Disruptor Flutes to name anything? I don't think so. I just want to put Marit Lage on a Skateboard one time. Come on, deck. I've already drawn up a thumbnail for this one. Okay, it's not a Skateboard, but I don't think we can keep this. It doesn't do anything for so many turns. This one does do things straight away. I think we're on the... We need to not lose the game plan. And then we can hopefully do some stuff with the Cultist. There is a Lion's Eye Diamond. There is another Lion's Eye Diamond. Yikes. We need to decide what matters here. So they're going to crack these Lion's Eye Diamonds in response. They do have multiple dredges. I think we are not going after these dredges. Poxwalkers. That is something we could go after though. Or we could go after... There's no command therapy there. Right, I'm going to take out the Poxwalkers. So then get Poxwalkers back. We've seen that they got the full set of Narcomoebas, which makes sense obviously. They've changed the way that dredge works on Magic Online recently, and I don't like it. Alright, they didn't hit any Narcomoebas, but they do get to face it again, so there's another 12 cards going into their graveyard here. Imagine if that graveyard hate was a ley line, though. We just win this game off the back of a ley line. You'll have to go very far down to hit that Floodmoor. They finally hit the Narcomoebas. How many bridges? 2 bridges? 3 bridges? Can we possibly win here? I don't believe so. Alright, I'll just scoot this one up. That was unfortunate, but again, I think we just have a bad sideboard, to be honest, and that's not really helping us out. Going to the final round, desperately looking for one of those wins. We've been, like, in it with a lot of these games, just not been able to get the W at the end. Here we go. Well, if we don't get Wastelanded, famous last words, but... Alright, we'll keep this. We've got a draw as well, so we might hit a land. If we're really worried about it, we can play a Pithing Needle first. But it kind of makes our Moon Shadow... Okay, I don't think this is going to be a Wasteland matchup. Let's go and get this Moon Shadow in first, because we need to clock our opponent, otherwise we're in trouble. Probably naming the One Ring with this Pithing Needle, which does kind of jam us up a little bit as well. We're going to see a Grim Monolith here. There it is. Alright, Void Mirror looking like a good sideboard card for this matchup. Voltaic Key. They have a lot of mana. Do you have a payoff in hand? And is it one that I can shut down? Trinisphere. Are you kidding me, opponent? What's going on here? Trinisphere. Are we just stone cold locked out to this? Ugh. Now they can just make some large constructs. I could have named Manifold Key. I could have slowed this down. Sorcerer's Spyglass. I don't even want you to see my hand. I don't think I care that much. I don't think they're going to have that many balls against us. They've already got a Trinisphere in play anyway. What do you name with this? Presumably Thespian Stage. Maybe they goof here and they name Urza Saga. That would be real nice. Right, they're producing more mana. And they're passing. So name Thespian Stage. So they have the ability to Urza's Construct here. What is our route out of this game? It's probably involves Overlord of the Balemurk. So let's play this. If we can find the thing to go with the Dpeths, maybe we can just fly over the top and our opponent doesn't have the action. 2 Moon Shadows. Not the guys I wanted, unfortunately. Their guy is really big. I think we just have to hold back here. Because they can have 2 massive hasty guys. I think we're just dead. Turn 2 Trinisphere on the play will do that to a guy. That's for sure. How big are they? 6s. So they're going to be 8/8s when they attack minimum. That is 16 damages. That's a lot. We could have stopped them making these. We could have just played out the Pithing Needle here instead of the Overlord. But I think the idea of playing Overlord, getting a guy that gives us a 20/20 is the best way to actually win this game instead of lose the game slower. And I prefer taking lines that have a chance to win the game, because you don't win games of Magic by losing, no matter how much you can slow it. They named Ghost Quarter. It's a reasonable name. At least they didn't go and get their boots of going fast and smashing us in the face. Another Grim Monolith. Have you got another payoff here? Alright, they want an unblockable 9/9. Sure. If that's all they're doing, that's not the end of the world for us. But we don't have, like, null rods. Okay. So we have managed to find a way through this one, potentially. So we get 20/20. We have 3 blockers. They can make 1 guy unblockable. Have they got enough mana to untap this multiple times? They might do. The Grim Monolith is tapped, though. So 1 mana to untap this. And 3 mana to take this. No, I don't think they have enough mana to make both of their creatures unblockable. So we're hoping they don't draw and deploy 2 artifacts, which isn't easy underneath their own Trinisphere. So we might have done just enough to win here by playing to that line. We've certainly done our darndest. Like, step 1 is obviously untapping a Grim Monolith using Voltaic Key. That's a given. Now what? We can make more mana, but then they won't be unblockable. Yeah! Alright. We played to our outs really nicely there and managed to get rewarded. Whew. Let's go to the sideboard and board in these Void Mirrors and Disruptor Flutes, shall we? These Abrupt Decays also seem pretty nice. I don't think this is a Shadowspear matchup. I don't think this is a Noxious Revival matchup. I very much want as much hand disruption as I can get. I don't... If we're boarding all these, you probably don't want them once upon a time. They've been boarded out quite a lot here. But this is one of our best ways of winning the game, is the thing. Trying to get like a big guy early doors. But if we need to fit these cards in, they need to go in somewhere. Are we life in the loaming? Like, we can Wasteland lock our opponent. That is very powerful. Is Overlord of the Balemurk good? They're probably going to be boarding in stuff to mess us up with that as well. Maybe we can trim a couple of these. We haven't done the Ulamog thing yet, so I am going to keep it in. I'm not sure if it's 100% correct to do so, but I think we need to keep this Life from Loam in as well. So maybe it's the Balemurks that just go all together. I do like the Ulamog. It is Magical Christmas Land, but that's what you lovely people came here to watch. Well, actually, you came here to watch Marit Lage on a skateboard. We haven't managed to assemble that yet. Alright, maybe we'll cut the Ulamog. I think the One Ring is still good because it finds us loads of excellent tools. The Lotus Petals aren't the best friends of the Void Mirror, but we play out all our Lotus Petals first. What does this hand do? Nothing apart from a single Wasteland. Let's mulligan. What does this hand do? Nothing? Big pile of hot nothing. They've mulliganed to 5 cards. Alright. Hand disruption into Void Mirror. This is what we want here. I don't think we get to keep this as a Saga. And that means we're probably getting rid of Verdant Catacombs. So we can Thoughtseize and then we can slam down the Void Mirror. And hopefully our opponent scoops to that and then we get to move on. I will not be playing an Urborg in this game. Maybe we're supposed to board out the Urborg. Or board out 1 copy. Pithing Needle. You're going to name Wasteland, aren't you? Or are you going to name Ghost Quarter, like you did before? They've seen Life from Loam, so they should assume Wasteland. I think that's correct. Shall we go Thoughtseize, because it's going to hit 4 drops. The One Ring. Get that out of here. Alright, this is not a strong hand for our opponent. Like, our hand isn't great either. This does allow them to mess with mana a little bit, though. Let's play this out. Let's cast a Void Mirror. So now they need 2 lands, or they need the tower to make this work. Right, nothing over there from our opponent. I'm willing to Duress you again. Sorcerer's Spyglass, Grim Monolith. Okay, I'm going to take the Spyglass. Since we will need to win the game at some point. I'm going to play out this Dark Depths so that if we draw a Thespian stage, we're ready to pop. The quicker we can end the game, the better. This does mean that we're not necessarily playing the One Ring this turn, but we'll see. You can draw an Urborg. Urborg is a bit dicey with the Void Mirror though. Hexmage. You are close to what we wanted, but not actually what we wanted. I guess we're shredding some counters off of our Dark Depths by paying the iron price. Can we make a 30 mana 2020? They've got land here. They can filter the mana to pay through the Void Mirror here. Let's strip one of our counters off. Come on, deck. I believe in you. Oh, I don't believe in you anymore, deck. What are we doing? Okay. We don't know what our opponent's got over there. 5 mana. So they're putting the mana into white here. They have a One Ring. Yep. At least we're slowing them down. They get 1 spell a turn because of playing a Nexus. But obviously the One Ring is a disaster for us. If we can draw a black source, I think we're okay though. Mutated Cultist. That'll do. That will most assuredly do here. We don't get to play the One Ring for free because the Void Mirror will counter it. But we've put our opponent in check. Their spells are not the easiest thing to cast because of the Void Mirror. Do we get you? They've drawn some cards with a One Ring. Fingers crossed. Playing a Nexus. Alright. Putting white mana in the pool. Don't do it to your opponent. Okay, we've got a little bit of a pause here for our opponent. I don't think this Void Mirror is going to counter any spells this game, but it's certainly going to make our opponent's life really, really irritating. A Grim Monolith. Okay. Now what? Kind of need our opponent to not find a second Nexus and really slow their production of spells. I don't know that we're going to cast something and then realise it didn't work. So maybe we've got this one. Yay! We managed to get a match on the board. Okay. Hallelujah. To be fair, 3 of the rounds were 1-2s. It could have gone either way if things were a little bit better, but I think there are some problems with our deck that I'd like to talk about. I mentioned it earlier, but I think the sideboard here is a real problem. Surgical Extraction is just not the graveyard hate that very many people are playing right now. You only tend to see this out of tempo decks that have a bunch of other ways of interacting with those sorts of combo E decks. You know, they've got their Thoughtseizes, their Dazes, their Force of Wills and stuff like that. So they've got turn 0 interaction as well as the Surgical Extraction. However, for a deck like ours, we just want to bang in something like the Endurances, or what I think is better given our green count here is to just jam in the ley lines and say, look, we want to actually mess with the graveyard properly. I think if we had a set of ley lines here, we go 3-2 this league. I think we're way more likely to win this league if we have that. Because we'll be able to actually shut down our opponent's graveyards, like in the Storm matchup and in the Dredge matchup, and that would have made our life a lot better. In terms of the main deck, there's a few things that are a little bit awkward to me. We're not a very good Dark Depths deck. We have no way of tutoring Dark Depths at all. We just have to go on the slow with the Life from the Loam. I honestly think if we just turn these into crop rotations, our deck looks way better, and we can fit in a Bajuka Bog, so we actually have a little bit of hatred for those decks as well. So I think if you were to play something like this again, you could just cut these 4 cards and this Noxious Revival, put in 1 Bajuka Bog and 4 crop rotations, and your deck just looks immediately better. Now, the Wastelands are a lot worse when you don't have Loam, so maybe you could try and cut somewhere else to fit in the Loams. I also don't think we're a particularly good Moon Shadow deck. We don't have that many things that are sacrificing. We don't have the Baubles. We've only got 2 Wastelands. We've only got 4 fetch lands. We're not really growing the Moon Shadow very much. Now, sure, we can strip all the counters with Mutated Cultist, or we can do a cool play where we do first strike damage, strip the counters with Moon Shadow. I really like that play. That was cool. But I don't necessarily think that's good enough, to be honest. Like the Overlord can grow it as well. We never did the Ulamog thing. We never put Marit Lage on a skateboard, which is very sad. I will still use a thumbnail. Obviously, you know that because you've already watched the video. But when you make a sick thumbnail of Marit Lage on a skateboard, then you're going to keep it. But yeah, I think this deck is doing too many things and doesn't do any of them well enough. And I think Legacy is very unforgiving right now, where if you're trying to do a plan and you're not necessarily doing it that efficiently, you can really sort of get jammed up. There's very few things that can be like their own little plan in a small way. So like Baragoi and Tamiyo are 2 prime examples that you can just chuck them in your deck and they'll do their own game plan and they'll win the game on their own, doing their own thing. Whereas we've got so many disparate elements. We quite often had like Hexmages with nothing to do with it and Mutated Cultists with nothing to do, or a Dark Depths with no way of stripping the counters. It's just very difficult to get these pieces together without some sort of glue to bring them together. And I just don't think this deck has the tools it really needs to be competitive in the format right now. But it does do some cool and fun stuff. And if you wanted to sort of sharpen this up with some additional tools, maybe you cut the Balemurks for... Yeah, so you cut the Balemurks the Once Upon a Time and the Noxious Revival, leave in the Loams so you can still Wasteland lock people, and then put in the crop rotations and the Bajuka Bog, and I think you've got a much better deck then, because crop rotation is very good with Moon Shadow as well. If you want to try and fit in some Talon Gates, maybe you get rid of the Shadowspear and put in Talon Gates here. That's another option available as well. And I think you end up with a more rounded deck. I still don't think it's going to be a great deck, but I think it's more rounded when you've got the glue to actually go and get your Dark Depths that you're kind of needing, as well as being able to maybe get a Talon Gate to protect your Moon Shadow, or the Bajuka Bog to protect you against some combos. It just gives you a lot more utility, and I think that's where you need to be here. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this one. Please remember to like and subscribe, and goodbye. If you'd like to support me in the channel, please check out my Patreon. It has a free guide to budget Turbo Depths, as well as 3 tiers of support. A low-cost one that enters you into my monthly raffle for a free donation deck on the channel, a mid-tier subscription that gives you access to my detailed Turbo Depths guide that is updated every month, as well as regular articles, and lastly, the higher tier gives you all of the above, as well as a monthly donation deck for my channel. If you're interested in supporting the channel this way, please check out the link in the description.